a very warm welcome to Agree to Disagree, the live and unscripted, interactive global talk show, broadcasting to you from the birthplace of debate, Greece. And each episode we'll be talking about a global issue, but from a local perspective. And it's a wonderful opportunity for you to share your opinion, have your say, and also to spread any of your ideas or opinions that you have. Please, if you like what you see and hear, like us and follow us and share us on Facebook, or if you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about the new normal, its meaning and its effects. And to help us to do that, I'm very pleased to say that we have the help and assistance of our wonderful producer, Claire, who will be answering all your comments on Facebook, and of course, the one and only Thomas, who will be mastering those controls and is lucky enough to be right next to me. Yes, really, next to me in the studio, our micro streaming studio here on the beautiful island of Corfu. Hello, Thomas, and how are you today?
Well done, mate.
A bit of a stumble there, but never mind.
Hi,
I'll get there one day, maybe the third time.
Don't worry, everything is all right, man. It's
great
Wednesday,
to be back, though,
midweek. It's the midweek
blues. Yes, we were talking about that before. Well, we're here to blow those blues away. Well, we certainly hope so. We'll give it a damn good try, won't we? Try and inject a little bit of sunshine into your life. Wherever you are in the world, it's just great to be part of this global revolution, if you like, a digital platform which gives you, the viewer at home, the wonderful chance and opportunity to express your views. Share them with us live. If you wish to be anonymous, please don't hesitate to drop us an email at inbox@studiokirkra.com. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, and thank you for logging on. Thank you for taking part again. I can see in the background there's already the messages coming in. So hi guys, thanks for watching, thanks for tuning in. And today's show, our topic is the new normal. But before we start off in the new normal, I think we should look in what is the meaning of new normal.
That's a very good point, a starting point. Ah, right, now you have on screen there.
Yeah,
yes.
I looked earlier, man.
Right, the new normal. Well, according to that definition, it says the current prevailing situation, when it has emerged recently, differs dramatically from the previous one and is expected to remain. So now we know. Yes, now we know. We didn't know quite before, perhaps, expressed into words so clearly.
So clearly, yeah.
Yes.
I looked it up earlier and I said, okay, what is the meaning? And when you go onto Wikipedia, that's what comes up under new normal. It just made me laugh. The example made me laugh.
Yes, that's
new normal for this country is
a pointed opinion.
Economically,
there,
again, is
yes.
Economic is popping in. All the time, when even now when you talk about new normal, of course it's gonna be different economically. But let's go back, man. Thanks for tuning in, guys. If you wanna comment, if you wanna talk with us, don't hesitate. Log on now here, send us your comments or send us an email to inbox@studiokirkra.com. And here it goes, inbox@studiokirkra. You can chat with us or go on Skype, arrange a Skype call with us. We're gonna publish soon all the topics we have in our head, what we wanna broadcast, so you have enough time to respond, and maybe in one or in the other show you say, hey, I wanna take part, I wanna discuss that with you guys, or I'm doing a project what fits perfectly to your topic. We are more than happy to promote that and have a chat with you, aren't we, mate?
Absolutely, because it is your opportunity to get those things off the chest, because I dare say there's a lot of things that have been happening over the last 7 months that have made you seethe with anger or just recoil with horror and hide away like some tortoise hibernating for the winter, or indeed a bear. It's thrown up all sorts of unintended consequences, I think, Thomas, hasn't it, really?
Oh, totally, and I'm just trying to publish today's bowl, and somehow the system is not letting me do that, so I have no idea what's happening. But hey, let's go over here and see. Let's see if that one works, because I wanted to start. Instead it starts automatically nothing. Yes, is it coming? There should be now your comments coming up, but I don't see anything, to be honest.
No, we're just seeing enjoying the Milky Way, I do believe, floating in the ether of space. How wonderful.
Yeah, it's always floating in there, but there should have been the comment.
No,
here
they're
it's
in.
going, man. Now it's coming. Huh?
From Jerry O'D, our wonderful viewer there in County Donegal on the beautiful Emerald Island of Ayr, or Republic of Ireland, to most people, I dare say. Are you agreeing? Yes, Jerry, we're agreeing. And we said before, I'll agree if he disagrees, and a bit of vice versa. We don't really mind on Studio Kirker, as long as you're happy, the viewers and listeners out there. But it is your chance to, as I say, debate, and to between us we can maybe come up with some answers. You never know, hey?
Oh yeah, you never know. And I'm trying to think. It's quite hilarious trying to use the new system here from Facebook to get all your stuff in. But it's alright. We're talking about the new normal, and the new normal affects everybody different. Or does it exist, the new normal? That's another thing. You know, we got a couple of things where people say, "Hey, we're not really sure." So our poll should have been new normal. Does it affect you? Yeah. Yes, it affects me. No, nothing has changed. No, yes, twice. No, nothing has changed. So that's probably
nothing has changed. And then the next one was.
Let me look in here quickly. No, the other one was now trying to figure it out. So maybe that's the problem. Let me switch then. Now trying to figure it out. No, and the fourth one, it's all mumbo jumbo. And yes, and now it's coming and it's published now. This was my fault, guys.
Oh, great.
So it's out there. See, this is how it goes. But there's a lot already. A lot coming in. I know I missed a couple of.
Well, it's nice
comments
to hear from,
here.
Tom from Appledore there in Devon, and from Anthony in the Netherlands is saying, everybody say new normal, this is not normal, this is a virus and that's not normal. Well, no,
yeah, see,
quite
that's
so,
where it goes. How far do we go now with this virus, with this new normal everybody's talking about? But what does it really affect? I mean, we made a couple of notes, and one of the things, what it is, it's obvious to you and me, mate. It's the greetings. It's to you all too. We getting confused in how to greet. It's part of the new normal. So.
The greetings, yes. I mean, we're all
still. I'm still fighting with it, to be honest.
Absolutely. I was a prolific handshaker before the pandemic. Bit us all, if you like. But of course, a handshake is definitely a no-no unless you're wearing an NCB and gloved up to the hilt. But it wouldn't be wise to do that. So a lot of other people are expressing terrible sadness not being able to hug. There's a lot of people out there who love to hug, not just theatrical lovies as they call them, but generally a quick outpouring of emotion or affection. Usually hugs are very quick things, and a lot of people are very sad about that. You can often pick that up on Twitter. And of course, as you were saying earlier, Thomas, there's what that has sprung up on a positive note, if you like, is a more wider acceptance, particularly in the West, of different forms of greeting. I mean, we've almost got used to elbows now, haven't we? And knuckles and things like that. I must admit, one took me by surprise the other week ago when someone lifted one of their legs and tried to sort of tap my derriere, as it were. I wasn't ready for that one. I'm not very keen on that greeting. My derriere, I'm trying to be polite. Yes, exactly. I'm not very keen on that one. But I think an elbow is quite good, or I think a knuckle isn't too bad either. But you were reminding me, Thomas, yes, how about the Indian and the Asian way?
I mean, the Asian way is one of the good ways, because you just bow down. Hello, man, you don't have to fold your hands or what, but just not with your head, and it should be all right. So you don't even need to touch each other. But it is the confusion. For me, it's still not good. I still struggle, because you meet somebody, you're excited because you haven't seen certain people for quite a while, and then the first reaction what we all have, you go over, you give him a hug, or you give him a really good handshake.
Yes, it's a natural human reaction.
It's the natural human, exactly. And all of a sudden, what are we doing? Are we fist bumping now, or are we going with the elbow? Then it's this for a couple of seconds, and if we agree, okay, we fist bump, or we go. So it should be
it's
unified.
Almost a dance. Yes, maybe. But then people do like to put their own little interpretations on things, although that can get confusing. But look, we can see there that we have at least two of our lovely viewers who are missing being able to hug their family, or just anybody that they care to, actually. Tom Gittings is asking us, what was that under the table, Adrian? I dread to think, Tom. I have no idea.
What under the table?
I don't know.
I have no idea what under the
tell
table.
us what you mean, Thomas, because Tom,
I have
we
no
don't
idea.
know.
I got my cup of coffee here on
Yes.
my table, mate.
I've got nothing much under my table, I can tell you that
That
one.
is always.
But look, we mustn't lose track of another wonderful viewer from West Sussex, our good friend Pierre Towers.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yes, he's written in, the new normal is accepted by some and rejected by others. So, it's difficult to see now. So it's becoming friction between two opinions, and therefore people who want to try and force, I think it probably says, their will upon others. That's a very good point, Pierre. There is this notion of two distinct camps emerging, like the mask wearers and the anti-mask brigade.
Yeah.
There's a clear definition now becoming through people. I suppose it goes back to that original question. Do you believe that COVID-19 exists, or do you believe it doesn't?
It doesn't. I mean, here
it's
is
kind of a follow-on from that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all up to different. Well, come on, it's the greeting. This way changed. The new normal is here, and that's part of the new normal. We only have to figure out now how do we want to greet each other without having this awkward 30-second confusion when you run in. It's also when you go to a meeting now and we haven't met these people before.
No,
it's always how do you greet now? What
very true.
And you can see by the methods of greeting if somebody is taking that COVID serious or not. Have you noticed?
Yes, that's a very astute point, Thomas. You can indeed, yes. But here's another thing. If you're in a high-powered business meeting, a lot of deals were conducted or finalised on the strength of a handshake, weren't they? The handshake was as important as the signature on the piece of paper, really.
Very
you
important.
Can't do that now, no.
That's it exactly, and this is also when you make business, you always have a handshake and this thing. So, and people say, you can judge the people's character by the type
strength
of
the handshake.
Yes, you know what, that falls away now. So what?
Indeed, yes. I must admit, I've been guilty. They say I've got quite a strong grip, and I have been guilty of almost shaking someone's hand off their arms. It has been said before, and I have squashed certain people's palms of their hands as well. So perhaps it's a good thing that I've stopped handshaking. But look, someone's made a very good point about Corfu being an island of the Corfits, lovely people who it's natural in their spirit to hug people, I'm going to kiss people, but yes, I think Greek people are renowned for being very friendly in that way.
Definitely.
Absolutely. So it must be extra difficult for them.
Man, okay, here now, Tom Giddings ends up like you're doing the chicken dance.
Well, that's what I didn't want to read that one out, but yes, I don't quite know what he means by chicken dance. Yes.
But this is those things now. What here Jerry is saying it must be difficult for the coffeeots as it's normal to hug and kiss each other. Yes, exactly. But you're gonna see now a difference there too, because I haven't noticed that this season really anywhere. I haven't noticed this many hugs around.
Oh no,
as usual.
Not.
So that's come back. That's why I said it's the new normal. But it's just confusing. It's about the first 30 seconds. What do you do as a hugger? You have a problem. Phil Harris says, as a hugger, it is the sharing of contact with close friends I miss.
Absolutely, Philip. Yes.
So it's.
Totally right. I do as well, because it's something so natural to me as a human being to hug another human being. Not just anybody, but it's a sign of closeness. All sorts of things, really.
Yeah, no, definitely.
But he makes a point there at the bottom of the screen. There, look, he says, "I'm a long COVID patient, and COVID is very impartial. I believe it can get you whether you believe in it or not." Exactly so, Philip. That does seem to be the case. Look how many high-profile people, many of whom have been COVID-19 deniers, have then ultimately gone down with it.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. It takes no prisoners. It affects absolutely every human being on the planet, or has the potential.
You read it out from Anthony.
That was Philip, the last line on the screen.
Yeah, and here Anthony is saying, my daughter works in a clothing shop, and I'm afraid to hug her, and we socially distance. That's terrible. I'm a hugger. See, and that's what. Yes. See, and that's where it's getting. When it's the bowl in now. New normal. Does it affect you? We have the questions. Yes. So the answers. Yes, it affects me. No, nothing has changed. Trying to figure it out. Or it's old mumbo jumbo. And at the moment, we got 10 votes on there, and it's 100% for saying yes, it affects me.
Yes, I'm not surprised by that, actually, to be honest with you.
So now I'm not surprised at all with that.
No. Richard's going on about their masks, wearing a masks in shop, which obviously he wouldn't have, being on holiday, he wouldn't have been here before. So, yes, Richard, mask wearing in shops is pretty widespread here at the moment.
Oh, yes, it's everywhere. So, and they're even saying now, okay, let's have that a little bit more. And, well, I'm just looking, so I'm getting distracted. Everywhere, windows popping up. But it's getting more.
More restrictions coming.
More restrictions coming.
Yes, absolutely.
So
yes.
It's the whole thing is, we just read out the breaking news from Paris.
I think that's
so
quite
there's from
shocking.
9 in the evening now until 6 a.m. in the morning. It's a curfew. That's Paris and other 8 French cities. I don't know which other 8 French cities because they didn't publish that
I'm sure
yet, but
Marseille
Paris is on there. So the new normal is definitely here. And from the votes now, 10% say yes. Also 100% now so far say yes, it affects me. So there is, I think we can agree on that one. There is a new normal. No question.
Yes, absolutely. It's happening. Some of it's seeped in, perhaps without us really realising. Other things, though, like we're saying, hugging and how to greet people, it's making a profound change. Also, I think travel and probably that will go on to holidays as well. Education. I mean, what walk of life hasn't been affected by this dreadful pandemic and the new normal? I'm struggling to think of one that hasn't.
No, this affects everybody, and that's what the thing is. I mean, here Phil Ferris is saying, I'm a long COVID patient. COVID is very impartial. It can get you whether you believe in it or not.
Yeah.
So and that's what it
totally
is.
True, yeah.
But now, okay, it's the new normal. All today we're talking about the new normal, and so far in the poll, 100% of you said yes, it affects me. So there is a new normal. What do we gonna do now with this new normal? But new normal. There's also opportunities in there. Yeah. And when we look, I would like to know in which way it affects you.
Yes, that's a good one.
And here Sally Roberts is example saying, I hate not to be able to go in with and hold my cats at the vets. So that's the thing. See, this is another effect now. So life changes.
And you wouldn't necessarily expect that to happen, would you?
No.
And of course, when the cat is in, or a dog or any pet is in the vets, that's the very time that you have that urge to pat or befriend the animal, obviously, and the animal is in distress, and it probably appreciates you giving it a hug or whatever you would do.
Yeah.
But of course, there was a point, wasn't there, a few weeks back when they were, months now, they were saying that cats, they were worried about passing on this pandemic disease.
Yeah, but this is part of the new normal, so it affects you. So guys, let us know in which way it affects you. We identified a couple of things, but the first, what the greetings, behavior, we all go in. The second, what goes now, is business.
Yeah.
And this is how we start working. A lot of people started working from home.
Absolutely, a huge amount. Well, obviously, during lockdown, that had to be the case, but many carried on doing that. There was a call from some governments to get people back into work using public transport, but that didn't really take off. Apparently, the take-up of the offers from lots of employers was not followed through, and the employees were much happier staying at home. I said on yesterday's programme that there was some survey conducted and published yesterday, I think it was, when they suggested that actually the productivity in the last quarter by a large increase of working from home has gone up by an average of 20%. I don't know how they quantified that, but that is quite a staggering increase, and actually surely a good thing. Public transport, of course, has been decimated, and people are not taking the trains and the coaches and the buses and all the rest of it that they were before. Of course, the positive side of that is more people than ever before are cycling, so that's probably a good thing.
Yeah, but when I'm working from home is now becomes nearly a norm, and I think there's an opportunity now to go ahead and say, okay, guys, for companies to reshuffle and maybe cut down their overheads. I believe there's an opportunity, and at the same time, we're gonna do our planet good.
Absolutely, I quite agree.
You know, there's a lot of things what could be implemented now in this new normal, what serves so many different things now. Like you can work from home. It cuts away the petrol what you drive
For
to
sure. No more commuting
work,
costs.
commuting costs,
Fantastic,
and
yes.
so companies with the office spaces and there's a lot of good things what's happening. But at the moment, for our new normal, it just hit us. It's only 6-7 months old.
Exactly.
So
We're
to
early
adjust to
days,
that,
isn't it?
that's
Early
the
days.
problem.
Yeah.
Trying to adjust to this new normal way, lifestyle.
Yeah. Very.
So it fits your lifestyle again, or you have to change your lifestyle. This is another opportunity. So I think it brings a lot of
As we said yesterday,
great opportunities with it.
for sure. But we asked the question, didn't we, rather casually? Has there been anywhere on the planet that has not suffered some effects from this pandemic? I sincerely do not believe that there is. And in amongst all that, this new normal is, as you just said, slowly emerging, seeping into our everyday consciousness and life. Yes.
I mean, here, just reading a couple here. Julie came and saying, new normal for us in our house. PPE kit at the front door. Grab a mask when you leave. Sanitize your hands when you come in the door. This is now normal for my family. See, that's what we're talking. So the new normal is really taking effect.
Yes,
it's already here.
It is,
but somehow it's get ignored by the media and by the government to
yes,
help,
quite
to
true.
find your way through that new normal. To
Yes.
adjust to this new normal. I think this comes down to the government. This is their duty to support
Absolutely.
the public, their citizens in that way. And at the moment it's everything onto economy, business, economy. We have to run that. We have to keep that alive.
Well, they're not. I don't think many governments have actually been consistent with their advice to their populations. Of course, things change on a regular basis. We accept that, but some of the advice that some governments have given out have been quite unbelievable. I mean, there's U-turns almost every week on things, and they never got to grips with a lot of things that perhaps some argue that they should. For instance, mass testing at airports. I mean, several countries do that, but I think the vast majority of countries do not. Greece was pretty good at 50%, wasn't it? Of course, the figures, we must always remember, have increased substantially in recent times simply because there is more testing going on. I mean, we've got to take that into consideration. It's not just that the pandemic is affecting more people all of a sudden. I think there's just more realisation of its effects as it ripples through. And
As it goes through,
yes,
definitely, yeah.
And as you said earlier on, we're now on the cusp, or actually we're in it, in a second wave in many, many countries. I mean, there's a quite draconian measures that Mr. Emmanuel Macron has released today, isn't it, this evening? That's quite a strident step from him.
That's what I was saying. This was an extreme step now because
Exactly.
the infection rates are going up. So the new normal gonna come, and the new normal is not gonna come. The new normal is here, and we only have to try to find out how to adjust now. That's the beauty. You're catching mosquitoes in the back.
No, I'm just
but
wondering whether there's
if
some rain coming in. I think there's some rain actually coming in. That's why I'm seeing these things fall.
Oh,
before
but the
my
roof
eyes.
thing is open.
Yes,
Okay, now let's go on. What is the effects? We got it here. Our new normal. Okay, greetings behavior, business changes. Then, of course, the mental health is suffering. But our climate seem to do well out of that. Yeah. Then we spoke quality of life, sports, entertainment, and holidays. That's so the thing. We just in our head when we were speaking, Aid and me, popped in. Oh my God, that's also stuff what in the new normal we have to rethink, and we don't have a lot of time to do that. So why are we not concentrating, or the governments or other groups, more effort into setting up the new normal?
Well, yes. I mean, they might argue in their defence that there's so many very important things to do in the...
It's raining.
Sorry, that was... Yes, it's raining. It's not raining cats and dogs. It's just a little bit of dribbling drizzle. And we can cope with it, but I'm a bit worried about the equipment, of course. That's more important than my tardy paperwork. But anyway, holidays is something that's probably not on everyone's top of their agenda at the moment, but going forward, it will definitely have some long-term impact. Although there is a consensus of opinion out there that things travel industry-wise might get back to the year 2024, there's absolutely no guarantee of that whatsoever. And just by the fact of transporting ourselves has definitely changed. There was a rush, as I said earlier on, to get people back onto public transport, but that seems to have tailed off rather drastically. And yet again, there's a whole load of people facing redundancy and an uncertain working future. The airline industry is well publicised, but what about all the other transport sectors like buses and rail and coaches? Many coach firms have collapsed in the last few months, I'm aware of that. So it is changing the travel landscape and, by definition, the holiday landscape. You made a good point earlier on, Thomas, when you said, what about winter holidays? You know, the virus thrives in cold conditions. What does that mean for the winter holiday?
Yeah, that is going to be devastating, I think, because they said when you have over 40 degrees, the virus slows down, especially how long it stays on surfaces.
Yes.
The colder it gets, the longer it stays on surfaces, up to 28 days on certain surfaces. So now winter holidays, so that must be really bad, because we got that out. We just got over the summer season and we were lucky here, as example. But what is now with the north of Greece? What is with other countries? Austria, Switzerland, Italy, Germany, France, winter holidays, Spain for winter tourism.
Indeed.
Is this just wiping now winter tourism out completely over Christmas? Or, you know, what's going to happen? And that worries me now. Especially, you know, we went over, okay, we are right here, we had a good summer season. But in the winter, we don't care here. But other countries do.
Absolutely. Some countries totally rely on winter tourist season, don't they?
Yeah, completely.
And to be honest, we haven't quite got there yet, so that's kind of unknown at this moment. We can hazard a guess or two, I think we can truthfully say. One thing to bear in mind, a piece of information I picked up the other day, was that one major airline operating right across Europe for their winter season of all flights all around Europe have decided that they're only going to be running 25% of the scheduled services. So I think that gives us some serious indication of what we can expect regarding winter travel. I don't think there's going to be much of it at all.
I mean, probably localized when you say, okay, now Austrians, they use now their own winter sport areas. Switzerland, the Swiss gonna do the same, the Italian gonna do the same, so there gonna be some tourism, but to what an extent, nobody knows. And if they're cutting that down and said, okay, you can only run 35% of your capacity, it's a problem. So see, even this sector of tourism gonna go under a new normal. There gonna be changes, things gonna happen, development gonna happen, so tourism can carry on. And how that looks like, nobody at the moment has a clue, nobody has an idea. And that's with all these new normal topics we have here on our board, is with all the same. Every single one is the same thing.
Yeah, there isn't any sectors that's going to be remaining totally unaffected. Going back to the days of pre-pandemic, I'm quite sure of that. Of course, the other unknown is no one can say how long this virus is going to continue wreaking havoc across the population. They just don't know. No. So it's work in progress on that one.
So how is the new normal affecting you? Write us a message in, log on and talk to us and tell us what is really the impact. What is the biggest impact of the new normal for you? Is it work? Is it the lifestyle? Is it, your hobby? Whatever it is, where you can notice it most. And I think most gonna be work.
Yes, definitely. That seems to be the case going on right now. Here's another one, though, Thomas. Shopping. That's another one.
Shopping is the next thing, yeah.
It is. I mean, in the last few days, a lot of main retailers have been issuing their quarterly figures, shall we say, and the online sales surge has been absolutely astronomical for a large proportion of them. For instance, ASOS, a very big fashion outfit, as you probably have heard of, and they're always exclusively online. But their sales have absolutely surged, and of course, you may not be unsurprised to know, so have their profits. I think they've gone up by 400%. Extraordinary. There's been this huge shift online, particularly the big supermarkets and groceries. I mean, there's never been a time where there's more groceries being delivered in the United Kingdom.
In the United Kingdom, I saw these figures and I was startled. I said, wow, there's waiting lists when you order up to 3 weeks. Well, so you have to think 3 weeks ahead and in certain areas they're still there, and this is all gonna come back. So it's I think planning ahead gonna be a big part for the beginning for the new normal. But here, let me go over. There is Richard Severdy wearing a mask from 3:45 a.m. to 11:45 p.m. on the 25th of September, the day I come to Corfu. Yeah. So, but what I want here, Jerry D is saying it's gonna be very hard for the musicians, and not just for them, for the
Yes.
whole entertainment industry too.
Very true. That they're going to be very badly
I mean, we're
affected.
feeling it.
Yes, there was a protest, wasn't there, a few days ago by a load of musicians in central London, and then very shortly after that, the UK government announced a whole huge raft of subsidy packages. Many of the musicians hopefully will get to benefit, but of course they're not able to rehearse like they used to. They're certainly not able to perform like they used
That's
to.
the whole problem.
Yes,
They're
it must be
performing now. Where
devastating
do you
for them.
perform?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, we know about Zoom, and there's a lot of online stuff. And, I did read the other day that a fantastic venue in London, the Royal Opera House, is going online, and they've already got a season booked for that. I suppose when it comes to the cast of a big production, either theatre or opera or ballet, if they'll probably adopt a similar technique to what we were saying yesterday, Monday's show, like the Formula One. You know, you keep in a bubble and you're tested before you join that bubble, and you don't leave that bubble, then probably that's how you're going to get through a long run of performances that may be actually on stage but will be broadcasted online. Many theatres have tried reduced capacity, haven't they? With varying degrees of success.
But how do you fix this problem now? I mean, look, physical venues gonna be until a vaccine is found. And cinemas and that.
Yes.
A thing of the past.
I mean, well, people are saying that. I mean, of course, drive-ins have taken a surge of popularity, and I did read a few weeks ago
delivery,
that there were 10 new drive-ins that have popped up in the last few months in the United Kingdom. But then on the other side of the coin, one of the biggest cinema operators in the United Kingdom, Cineworld, has closed all its cinemas, theatres, call them what you will, right up until beyond the end of the year. They say, of course, partly because of the postponement of certain Hollywood blockbusters, not mentioning any names, and that has had probably an effect. But I think there was also an effect of a lot of people were slightly wary about going back to a cinema, slightly wary about going into a theatre again.
Theatre, yeah.
You know, so maybe, I hate to say it, there'll be a lot more online performances. But when it comes
to gonna be that's a market what is flourishing at the moment. You see a lot of live stream, not just ours, but there's many others out there who doing. I mean, the gaming is anyway. This was here before the whole thing happening.
Yeah.
But when I talked with Claire, because she runs a web development business, people are looking to her now for solutions. So we're gonna make a complete. This is gonna be a topic for a complete. For another show. Simple.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so they're looking in, and so that's part, and streaming is part of this solution. But business-wise, let me go over here quickly. Jerry O'D is saying, I did 2 weddings this month. Lucky me, but hard for the guests. Only 45 people. And the other one, only 25, unfortunately. Now, there's only allowed 15.
It's heartbreaking if you're having a wedding, or equally it's heartbreaking at a funeral as well, isn't it? If you can't get to say goodbye to your loved ones, that's heart-wrenching.
Yeah, but here, you know what, funeral directors incorporated live streaming already now for their funeral parlors. So you can have the ceremony live streamed, and the loved ones from around the world, or who can't make it, or who are not allowed there, they can join that online. I know it's not the same. I know,
but it's still a great initiative, though, isn't it? Let's be honest.
It's a great initiative, and I think this is something we have to get used to with the new normal. Simple. That's part of getting used to the new normal.
It might well indeed. It's certainly going to be the case for the next few months and into 2021, I do believe. Yes. So. What's next on the list?
I mean, Tom Gidding saying, where I work, we have gone from 8 vans for grocery delivery, to 19 vans.
There we go.
Out
example.
Every day.
Yes.
Thank you, Tom. That's fantastic. So out every day. See, that's what I mean. The whole thing, the delivery. We spoke earlier and we both laughed because McDonald's is now for the delivering.
Yes, exactly.
Just Eat. Wow.
Just Eat. Takeaway.com announced for the first time they've signed up to 80 at the moment, but it's going to expand quite quickly soon. 80 McDonald's restaurants in the United Kingdom will now be available on their Just Eat Takeaway.com platform, and other delivery food services providers are going to be doing likewise. I think they've had a lot of trouble with queues. The drive-ins haven't quite been so successful, probably because too many people were using them. And now with new restrictions inside buildings and takeaways and restaurants, it seems a logical extension.
Yeah, but they were fighting takeaway. This was if you if you put McDonald's and takeaway into the same sentence, this
There
is
you
like
go.
swearing at them.
Yes, I take your point.
You know, that's the.
And I should think actually the the lovely people down your local Indian or Chinese might be slightly concerned about that because they've had a good run at the moment, haven't they? And now all of a sudden their
I would be
pages
concerned, of course, man.
are being shared by the likes of McDonald's and Burger King. That's a thought. We're talking about food again. No, stop.
But you know, it's the delivery. It's the full delivery now. Now there's new markets emerging, and at the same time, it offers more employment. So in the new normal, gonna be a complete shift.
On
so
all,
many things,
all
fronts.
On
exactly. All fronts.
Yes,
so at the same time, instead of looking at it negative and get dragged down by it, say, okay, maybe that's the time for myself to reinvent myself or change my life, have a healthier lifestyle, as example. Or, you know, I do something what I always was talking about. I saw a few posts where people said, I'm radically. This is radical now, right? Yeah.
Okay,
so that's something. But I wrote in and say, hey, you know what? I changed my lifestyle since April, completely.
Great.
Was really completely the way I work, the way I live, and I went into sustainability. I looked at the costs for my house. I built the house different. Another one said, you know what? I grow my food myself now. I'm in a stage now after 6 months that I started harvesting, so I'm effectively eat what I grow.
Fabulous.
So that extreme, they come out from their high-paid jobs, bought a piece of land. I know I read that blog. Bought a piece of land and changed his life completely. Lives more or less isolated. He can of course visit communities and that. This is not like a local village or something. Of course.
No.
Yeah. Of course, but he lived in a city before.
Right.
And in the last 6 months, he changed his whole life. So it's
You
know,
can't
that's a
blame
new
him, can you?
normal. He
No,
took the
it's,
opportunity.
Yes, exactly. With both hands there. And he's gone kind of with the flow to his benefit, which is absolutely great. Of course, we must point out that not everyone's lucky enough to have an allotment to be able to grow their
not to
own
have the money to start, you know,
well,
like
indeed,
over like
yes,
that.
Quite.
That's another thing.
One spin-off thing is they're saying that this is an effect through the new normal. A lot of more people have returned or turned to for the first time gardening. Even city centre dwellers have suddenly festooned their balconies, if they're lucky to have one, with plants. And also there's a movement now to have living plants inside the home. The sales of indoor plants has absolutely skyrocketed. But gardening is supposed to be very good for the mental health side of things as well, I keep getting told, Thomas.
Oh, definitely, and that's our next. Exactly.
Yeah.
But when a new normal is also a challenge, a mental health challenge. And when I look here quickly, because I saw this post earlier from Kathy Simmons, is saying all this talk of another lockdown, however short, is filling me with threat and anxiety. I feel I cannot plan anything at all. Then that even the next few days are out of my control. Anyone else feels like that? I mean, yes,
well
definitely.
Done, Kathy. Thank you. Good to hear from you.
Great to hear. Thanks for that.
Yeah.
This is one
Very
thing.
true.
What struck me today, just reading that, I said, wow, you know, there's one. It influences the mental. Of course, it has effect on your mental health.
Hugely so, yeah.
Hugely special for that, and that, you know, not seeing. Some people gonna be in a position and say, I can't see the light in the end of the tunnel. I don't know how to progress. I'm about to lose everything I have. So that's a hard nut. Something hard to swallow, hard to crack and hard to swallow, mate. No, it's here. Thomas, the Miko from New York is writing in. Hi, Thomas, thanks for writing in. So he is saying, I'm a musician.
Right.
Yeah. And even if you can play now at lower capacity, you won't make any profit.
No,
yeah?
good
but
point.
he is fortunate to have a full-time teaching position. See, it is...
Yeah. Well, that's good. Not everyone
may be... you know, for him it's a fallback. For him it's okay, I'm a musician, I can play my gigs, but I can teach too. So I have to change now.
Yeah.
He probably rather performs than teach. Definitely.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
but it's good that he's able to do that, and it's good for the students of his that are able to receive that teaching, as it were. It fills a few bows of your string, doesn't it? But it's probably not quite the same as getting out there and doing a proper gig. Obviously not.
Phil Ferris is saying there could be a solution in lower numbers attending with higher prices, maybe. So,
yes,
yeah,
maybe.
but is it going to be cold soon in the Northeast? So it's it's this new normal, and as Cassie said, you don't know at the moment. You can't plan a few days ahead because it's. Yeah. She's spot on with that.
Absolutely.
So this new normal, it is a transition in the moment.
We are. It's very much transitional, and I think this winter will have some bearings on how we develop forward, quite frankly. Let's just hope that it's not so bad as some experts predicted a few months ago. But we simply
we don't know. This could be, this could go anyway. But I think we have to try to stay positive. We have to try to see this as an opportunity. Now, times are gonna change. The normal, the new normal is here. It's not coming. It's here, and people have problems to adjust. We would like to know. Maybe you have a good story and say, okay, I have this problem, but I adjusted to this way, and share this with us. You can comment here live, or you can send us an email, and we're gonna talk about it. Or if you wanna talk with us here live, hook up with us, arrange something, and you can be live on one of our shows.
Yes, we'd absolutely love to hear from you. You just said a line there from back in the days of the hippie days of the 1960s from that fabulous singer-songwriter poet Bob Dylan. The times they are a-changing. And that's so true right now, isn't it? It was then, but it is now as well.
Sorry, I had to look because there's the rain going. We've got this mosquito, this is raining and you can't hear that. But it is quite funny, mate. I try to keep everything dry. We're inside the van, but I have to close the door.
In a cocoon.
We cocooned in,
yes,
definitely.
It's great, though, broadcasting live across the world. And if there is anything you want to get off your chest, or you have a strong opinion, or even a mild opinion, it doesn't matter. We'd love to hear it. Just drop us a line at inbox@studiokirkora.com, or better still, pick up the phone and partake in a live call on Skype to us all here at Studio Kirkora for Agree to Disagree. Because we all like to have a little bit of a debate on the quad, and where better a place to hold a live debate than the birthplace of debate, Greece.
Greece, yes, it
absolutely
is. I mean, here I read a couple of more questions out, and then I'm jumping in to the other one I got on my board I want to talk about. But here Cherry D is saying, I'm lucky to have all my eggs in one basket. No, I have a lot of friends who are doing nothing. I'm very upset for them, very sad, and
yes.
That's now,
devastating.
It's
really,
devastating, and when you have to watch, if you are right, but when you see now your friends are struggling because everybody is in a different kind of business, and you see your friends who done well all the time, all of a sudden struggling, it's very bad. It's also, you see, this contributes now to your mental health.
I was just thinking that it feeds right into that. And on the subject of mental health, one sector of society that's been particularly, so they reckon, badly affected by it are, of course, the children. Children's referrals to mental health services have skyrocketed, 25%, one figure I read recently. And it must be awful for the children to have been held up in lockdown for so long, because children are very sociable, very gregarious human beings.
Yeah, but at least they got the communication through their smartphones, through their games.
Well, that's
they can communicate, and when you look into that a little bit, it is. I mean, we all they're spending too much time in front of their games. They're spending too much time in front of their tablet or their smartphone. What now becomes all of a sudden a bliss, because that's the only way of communication.
Almost, isn't it?
It's left for them, and now all of a sudden this slaughtering of don't look at it, put it to the side. It came down. I see now parents who are not that stressed about that anymore. How
not
long
so
they
much.
spend on their device, because they know they need to socialize, and the new normal of socializing, and we have to sometime accept that it's online. It's really, I think it's 80% online. Would be interesting to know.
I don't know, to be honest, off the top of my head, but it could well be that level of figure. Yes, absolutely. I mean, Zoom has incredibly proliferated, isn't it? It went from a few million to hundreds of millions.
It just exploded, and everywhere it is exploding now, especially with live streaming, especially with online. So, but makes the world all of a sudden smaller.
Indeed.
Feels smaller. But here Cassie Simmons is writing in and saying, hi guys, I'm working in a hospital in the UK. I'm so stressed and anxious up. So, wow, you know what I believe, that you're anxious, that you're really stressed, but I understand, probably not the full extent, but to be on the front line like you, I mean, respect to you, it's great what you're doing, thank you what you're doing, it's fantastic. Well, to be honest, I don't want to be in your shoes, do you?
No.
Honest now, straight and honest.
Absolutely. I'd take my hat off to you, Kathy. Absolutely. No, I wouldn't. I think I'd be seriously negatively affected. And you're doing very well to keep it all together thus far, Kathy. So just hang on in there for a bit longer. You never know what's round the corner, and let's hope it's something good rather than something bad, hey? Always believe in hope. But you are doing a sterling service, what is absolutely needed now. Of course, they're warning today that some of those standby hospitals, affectionately known as the Nightingale hospitals in the United Kingdom, are coming out of mothballs, are preparing for an influx of patients. ICU usage has suddenly gone up in most countries across the world, hasn't it?
Totally, it's slashing. I mean, Cassie is saying about everything, it's horrible. Our slashed, weekly earnings slashed, yet we still have bills to pay. It's doing my head in.
I'm sure it is.
Being on Corfu for a few days really helped me because of the great attitude of Corfiards. Wish we were back there. I believe. That's the next.
And you're absolutely right saying that.
Yeah, and that's the next thing. It also depends when you get used to the new normal. It also depends your culture where you are. How does the culture work? The Greeks, we are lucky here because they always say, okay, we're gonna find a way. We're gonna find a way. That's how they push on. They're not panicking or something. The Greek in England, you quickly into the negative, and I think it is.
I think that is a fair
the
point.
The Greeks see things more positive than the English do.
Maybe one reason for that is, a lot of people, not me, a lot of people make this point that within the United Kingdom there's a tremendous emphasis from the whole media there of negative news, of this COVID-19 pandemic. Maybe other countries are trying to balance that out with non-COVID items. We've certainly tried to do our best here from Studio Kerkera, and we make no apologies that the first episode of Agree to Disagree was firmly centred on COVID-19. But as you will see, as the episodes go by and by, we're gradually moving away. Of course, it's always going to be in the back of our minds, and we are very happy to discuss it, should you wish us to discuss it, totally. But there are other things going on in the world, as you probably know. There's a certain election coming up, I think, in 3 weeks' time, for instance. There's all sorts of issues. Climate change is very much an ongoing issue, and we will discuss that.
Yeah, that's the next thing I wanted to go, because you said about the Nightingale Hospital not long ago, and Cassie said my husband is building more fridges for the Nightingale hospitals, which is keeping him very, very busy at work.
Right, well, that's good that he's kept busy, but of course it's not for the best of reasons. They're obviously expecting a surge of patients for that one, I should dare say.
And it's raining. Wait, give me a second. I have to close that door, man. It's raining in.
No, you close the door. We'll keep ourselves dry in this wonderful streaming shuttle cocoon of a studio. Apologies for Thomas going across the screen there, but he has to do what a man's got to do. Anyway, he's back now in the hot seat, and he's ready to go. So, yes, that's very good points there, Kathy. Thank you for contributing.
Yeah, and I saw it. I just been out there, and had to close the van door. We in our mobile van here, and it's all cozy, isn't it here?
It is. When you say van, I always go, of course it is a van in the strict sense of the word, but to us it's actually our mobile streaming shuttle studio, because that's exactly what it is. Oh, hello. He's armed and dangerous on this one. He's got a little cheeky handheld there. I don't know what he's going to do with that. Heaven forbid. You found any chickens down underneath your desk lately, Thomas?
No, but I wanted to show the guys a little bit when I just switch over here. So that's just of the camera. So here is my control. We in a van.
We're in a tight space, which is a streaming shuttle mobile studio, fully equipped. 21st century. Oh, it's amazing. And actually, the rain isn't too much of an interference. Hopefully you can't hear too much of that wherever you are at home listening to this debate. Hopefully you're going to contribute. Why not be brave and pick up the phone and dial us free on Skype? Studio Kerkera is our name. I'm sure you can easily find us. Or keep on writing those wonderful comments on Facebook. And if you like what you're hearing or seeing, please like us and follow us. If you follow us, you get heads up of all our broadcasts. And also, please, if you could, share us. We like a bit of sharing, don't we, Thomas?
Oh, definitely. That would be great. I mean, here it's raining buckets again, so we got a little bit of bad weather for everybody who is here on holiday. Yeah, apologize. But that's nothing you can do. You're still on the beautiful island. So, but back to the new normal, and one thing what is positive, the whole thing perhaps maybe COVID with the new normal, is the climate, is our environment.
Yes, it's
that seems to be the only thing where we say, wow,
and
you know what, it's really good what's happened, especially through lockdown. We experienced that. Does nature somehow bounced back a little bit?
That's right.
And it's carrying on to recover in certain areas, but still far away of all the problems being solved, of course. But the environment seems to be doing well here.
Yes, more birds have been birthed this year, I do believe. For instance, careful what I said there. Yes, animals seem to have improved their numbers, for instance, and plants as well. I think there's some good things going on in the world of horticulture. And people can actually hear bird song, whereas before they weren't able to do that. Traffic levels are a bit mixed still, aren't they?
Pollution levels are gone down in
yes.
certain areas. What is fantastic, you know. When you look at that, nature, it's a break for nature.
Yes, totally. People in Delhi for the first time saw the distant hills in the background. They'd never seen them before, which is amazing. Namaste to all our Indian friends, by the way.
Yeah, and let me look into the bowl, because today we had a bowl here, and it says the new normal. Does it affect you? Yeah, yes, it affects me. No, nothing changed. I had a spelling mistake in there. Great. Try to figure it out, and it's all mumbo jumbo. So at the moment, from the 100%, what we got here, yes, it affects me. It's 82%. No?
Oh, that's declined a bit.
No, nothing has changed. 0%. No. Try to figure it out is 12%.
Ah.
Yeah,
right.
And it's all mumbo jumbo. We got 6%.
Have we really?
Yeah.
6%. That's
somebody out there saying it's all mumbo jumbo.
Yes, but if you're one of those mumbo jumblies, please contact in and explain a little bit more why you say that. We'd like to know a bit about that, wouldn't we?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I can think of is that this is somebody who, and we spoke about it earlier, who already lives a new normal through the digital age. The digital age came and a lot of people adjusted. And I know I got friends who they don't go out that much, really, because most of their life is virtual, is on the internet. They work on the internet, they make the money on the internet. They don't physically need to go out. They have, like we said, the delivery coming in, delivering their groceries. They're ordering takeaways. Okay, when they feel a little bit they want to go out, okay, then I go do a pub or what for an hour or what. But they're not really the type of people who do that.
No.
Every now and then, yes, but most of their life, most of their everyday thing is online, and they made their home. Yeah, they adjusted their home,
right? Yeah.
to that life, to that lifestyle they live, and they got criticized in the past. Over the last decade, there's so many people who got criticized and said this has health consequences for people. And, go out, have fresh air, go away from the TV, go away from the games, go away from online.
Indeed,
and enjoy nature. And their bush, and now this bush is gone because now you're not allowed. So for these people, I think there's not a lot of change happening.
No, equally also, since harsh lockdowns commenced way back now, 7 months or more ago, for many people, when certain lockdowns were eased and we became known as unlocked, and gradually more and more things you were able to do, this is probably June, July time I'm talking about, a large amount of people decided they were going to stay put and maintain their own lockdowns. I wouldn't like to hazard a guess, but we're talking about a serious large number of people here in all countries, not just the United Kingdom. And I'm sure also here on the island of Corfu, I think there are people who have buttoned down, as it were.
Yeah, so... Yeah, definitely. There's still, we know here on the island, I don't want to mention them now, but they announced 2 months ago, sorry guys, for us it's too much, we're going to go in self-imposed lockdown. We're going to minimize all the contact we have, we're scared about it, and we want to figure out how do we move forward.
Yeah.
And that hits a lot of people. One area what is badly hit is the sport area, is the entertainment, of course. We are out of the entertainment, we get hit. We got hit terribly, but we're not the only ones. But sport.
Absolutely devastating effects of every sport you could possibly care to mention, But here on the island of Corfu, it's very big in football and basketball are the two biggies here, and I don't think there's been many basketball matches played any time recently, has there?
No, I can't recall anything. I saw a couple of football games here locally, but there were no spectators until last week. Sadly, one of the football team got tested positive.
Oh,
So
wow.
and within a day they had 6 positive in football teams in Corfu alone. So they are saying it is still it's transmitting because you have players. They're not all from the same family, are they?
No, absolutely not. And of course, that's just the thing that will proliferate this wretched disease.
So now with sport. So how do we step forward with that?
Exactly. Yes. Well, I mean, they've made a success, I suppose, if you can call it that, by playing important football games to empty stadiums. But they all report the same thing. It's just not the same.
Yeah, but it's the smaller football clubs now in the United Kingdom, not just in the United Kingdom, all over Europe. They suffer the worst because they need bumps on seats for each game. They need to make that money. It's not just the ticket. It's also the hospitality. They deliver at the same time for your burger, whatever thing you get in halftime. But that's all falls away, and now playing in an empty stadium.
It's just
so there's something new has to come in, and the new way, and we know it. We're doing it right here now as we speak. Is online.
Yeah.
That's gonna be the digital world gonna be explode. I think over the next 6 months we're gonna see a rapid evolution in the digital world, and there the new normal gonna come into effect. There we're gonna see, I think, the effect of the new normal.
Yes, that's actually going to be another standalone episode coming up in the short-term future, the digital life.
The digital life, that's a complete separate thing, what we're gonna do. But, it's the new normal now, and what you are seeing now, I can see you're not at the moment, you don't know yourself, do you?
Me? No, I don't. I'm just, what he was saying now, I'm just thinking, what's it going to be like going forward if things get worse? For coffee shops, for instance, you may remember many months ago, early days of lockdown period, coffee shops were closed, weren't they? And that made quite a serious impact, negative, I have to say, on us. The Greeks love to sit around and talk and discuss and, of course, debate. That's why we're here, and that's what this is all about. And coffee shops are a great facilitator in that. But it could be tea rooms, it could be restaurants. I mean, anywhere that is hospitality, the whole subject of hospitality sector, if you like, is probably one of the most seriously adversely affected sectors that there could be. I mean, you could name a whole dozen others, but hospitality really is so. And that gets to the core here, doesn't it? Because that then, it not only does it have effects with employment and money and all of that, but it's the human side here. Yeah. The lack of communication, the lack of contact. It's all digital life is great, but nothing's like being face to face, is it? You can't really quite replicate that. We're not quite in a world of augmented or virtual reality. Yeah, I know we're going there.
But you're getting there. But see, that's the whole thing where I said this personal contact. We grown up with this personal contact, with the socializing. Yes. But the whole type of socializing changed completely. The socializing nowadays doesn't mean anymore we have to physically meet on a place to do that. The younger ones, the younger generation now, don't care about that. That's the different thing.
Yeah, that's a good point. They
that's
a very good point.
So the younger generation probably have an easier
path into the new normal.
Into the new normal than us you oldies and me middle-aged.
But you're quite true. No, I can't argue. I can't argue. You're absolutely right.
That's what you're going to argue.
No, I'm not going to argue. No, so I'm agreeing. I'm agreeing with disagree. It's okay. It's okay. But hey, Thomas, remember this earlier on in a coffee shop. In fact, a lovely coffee shop, Time Out Bar in Maratica, known as the Shisha Bar. We like it there for all sorts of reasons. But it's we were talking about how things have changed in terms of socialization through the ages anyway, because back in perhaps Victorian times, people were much more circumspect. There wasn't any hugging and there wasn't any kissing going on, and a handshake was very stiff and formal, but people weren't quite so social in that way. And then I was saying, remembering my informative years, I was born in the 60s and early 70s, I suppose I was more aware of the world than I might have been in the 60s, and we had, after the summer of love, we had an outpouring, didn't we, of love on the streets. And we had freedom of clothes. People were going around in strange, wacky clothes like Afghan coats and robes. I must admit, I was like a good robe myself. And in a way, it was a completely the antithesis of the stiff Victorian era. We were suddenly in a much more what's the word I want? Tactile and more outwardly friendly. And now I suppose you could argue with the coming down of the gates, the portcullis has hit us through lockdown.
Yeah.
We've suddenly now find ourselves very more isolated, not able to shake hands, hug, or communicate closely. I mean, remember the 2 meter distance rule. You know, if you're really going to stick to that and adhere to that to the millimeter, 2 meters is quite, you know, it's still a way, a gap.
It's 2 meters. It's simple as that.
Exactly.
It's 2 meters. It's 2 meters.
The length of a broom between 2 human beings. That is different to how I've known it all my life up until recent times.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about. So I think, as we said, the younger generation gonna have an easier time to adjust to that
good point.
than we do, definitely. And maybe we can learn something from them, or maybe one of the lifestyles. Okay, we necessarily don't all agree on the younger generation's lifestyle, how they do it. But in the end of the day, we done it only without social media, only without the internet.
Yes,
it's an exciting time in your life. You're a certain age, you're in a younger age. There's still the exploring thing in there. There's so many new things, but now they are more switched on because of the internet. They understand more.
Yes,
they have more access to
access. That's the point, isn't it? They have tremendous access to a tremendous amount of information that you and I couldn't even dream about when we were writing those essays at school. I mean, that was difficult to get hold of the right information. Now you've just got to type in a phrase or a word in a main search engine, and before you know it, you've got thousands of pages of different titles to go through. I mean, that's the other thing. You could almost say now they're suffering from another point altogether, which is information overload.
And that's another. Yes. So
and also it becomes important. Then
there's confusion. That's what contributes to confusion. Is the information overload.
Yes, a very good point there, Thomas. Absolutely. So, you see, there's an unintended consequence of this so-called new normal, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, here Jackie Cherry is coming in and saying, okay, if the youngsters will adapt to the online world of the future, why do they insist on having illegal raves, street parties, etc.? Oh, see,
very
that's
true.
now okay. That's the other side now of it, and I think this also has to do at the upbringing. We still these teenagers, some of these teenagers still have an old-fashioned way of upbringing, where others left more to their own. And then there's others, again, where the parents already encourage a more digital lifestyle, because that's going to be the future. Let's not kid ourselves.
No, but I can't help but think, Thomas, because we are gregarious people, humans as a race as a whole. I mean, not all of us, for sure, but by and large portions of us are. I still think there's going to be people yearning for that interaction live, face to face, with other human souls, and that's where dancing at discos or nightclubs or raves will be sorely missed. And I dare say they're going to find alternative ways.
Yeah, but on the other side, when you look at now of these illegal raves and so on, you look really close. What generation do you see in there?
Well, I would say probably we're talking about currently 20s to 30s, 40s at the most there.
Yeah, exactly. So it's our generation of the raves, mate. My generation of the raves.
I'm a little bit
so you know what?
It's
not the young ones. It's not the teenagers or
exactly the children who are sort of going into teenage years, shall we say? That would be interesting, won't it? Say you're a child at school and you're sort of 8 or 9 now. What's their life going to be like, I wonder, in 10 years' time from now? I bet it will be very different to what our lives were back then.
Yeah, this is evolution. This is just an evolution, indeed, and this triggered the evolution now of the new normal. Everything gonna change, and you know what, man? We in our on air, we have to wind that down slowly. Okay, let me go over and just have a look at our poll. Our poll of today is: how does the new normal affect you? And 80% saying yes, it affects me. 0% say no, nothing has changed for me. Nobody
really?
thinks that.
Okay.
But 15% say trying to figure it out. Yeah, and 5% of today's poll say it's all mambo jumbo.
Okay, well, we can't argue with that. Fair
No,
enough.
we can't argue with that, definitely. And sorry about this spelling mistake. That was my fault.
Oh, never mind.
But yeah,
We can't be brilliant at everything, Thomas. You know that. There's always a fly in the ointment somewhere. But I'm sure that's not a big issue, that people can read whatever it was that you misspelled.
yeah.
Anyway, you can always say that people spell words in different ways anyway, you know. Pay your money,
Yeah,
take your
you know, spell it UK way, American way, Austrian way. But
yeah, absolutely. Maybe you were feeling
don't know.
slightly American at
Yeah,
that particular
you
moment.
never know. But you know, it's all. We spoke about the new normal, guys. This was our topic of today, and we can go on for hours and hours and hours to see.
Probably could,
But
yes.
yes, but I think from the conclusion from the whole thing, where we can all agree to disagree, is, you know, it doesn't matter which way it goes. We all are affected by it.
Absolutely.
It is happening. It's not coming.
Whether we like
It's
it
here.
or whether we don't, it's here.
It's here.
affecting
Yes.
Almost everything that we do, really, in a way.
Yeah, I mean, it has a lot of negatives with it, but I think we can also agree it also has a lot of positives or opportunities, and
Yes,
that's all about,
opportunities,
because I
definitely,
think opportunities were so rare, especially the last decade. There were not a lot of opportunities for everybody out there. Now I think the whole thing gonna change, and there gonna be a lot of opportunities presenting themselves, and maybe it's a little bit of a wake-up call to say, okay, let's rethink my life. Maybe I want to change it. Maybe I want to go a different direction now. Maybe you can reinvent yourself. So there's a lot of positive things we can take out of this new normal.
And maybe it is now, more than any other time in the last perhaps 20, 30, 40 years, now is the time to reinvent yourself, because let's face it, you're kind of having been given a big prod now to do so, aren't you? Certainly if you're going to A, survive, B, get on okay, and most important of all, try and be happy, because that is very important. We mustn't lose sight of that.
Sight the positivity. And one of the things, you're totally right, mate. I agree there. Wow, we agree, man.
We agree! Hooray! We agree.
It's a thing, but you know what? But don't let you get down. We got one of the things, one of the topics from one of our show very soon gonna be mental health, and we just try to get a counselor from the United Kingdom. What is very good. He's a very chatty guy, and he understands what he's talking, because he been there himself, and we just try to set up with him a call so that he can come live on to the show and we can chat a little bit. But we gonna announce the topics ahead of time, so you have time to respond to them and send us your messages to studio inbox at studiokerkera.com. Let me code it up for you. Here it is.
Yep.
We can talk live on Skype at Studio Kerkera, or you can email us to inbox at studiokerkera.com, and you can arrange with us a live call or a question. If you have a question you want to ask then to our guest, feel free, do so. And and it's one of the topics, and I think we get on, and we got many more related what we spoke today, and I think we have to just carry on with that, and
including a jolly topic. It's not all going to be doom and gloom here.
Of course
on
not.
Agree to Disagree. One jolly topic that you can all get your heads around and thinking about in the short-term future. A very nice, pleasant topic. Christmas. We're going to be talking about Christmas, probably nearer the time.
yeah, that's gonna be interesting, I think.
Yes,
So, but
absolutely.
yes, there were a few topics we're gonna pick out of this episode and put on their own and start discussing this with you. So guys, it's Wednesday Midweek Blues. We hope we could help you a little bit there. Thank you for taking part. Thank you for sending in so many messages, and thank you for the polls. So we're gonna announce on Thursday tomorrow what is gonna be all about on Friday, so you got enough time to take part, throw us your question, or be live here. And that's all I can say for today. Thank you for tuning in. Please share, please follow, please subscribe to our channel. Spread the word if you liked it, and if so, then hopefully I'm gonna see you on Friday again.
Yes, absolutely. It's absolutely wonderful to be part of our digital world platform here on Agree to Disagree. And as always, I'd like to thank you for sharing your time with us, and we very much look forward to seeing you all for Friday's edition. In the meantime, have a very lovely evening or day wherever you are, and take care now.
Good night for me here, live from Corfu, and you do, yeah?
Absolutely. Kala Nikta, as we say here in Corfu, and a very good night to you all.